So recently my friend got Bloodborne, so I decided to make a video talking about tips and tricks that will make you slightly better at this depressive yet satisfying game. Also, by any means, this is not a definitive guide or anything. There are guides that go into more detail about the mechanics of the game, so if you want better advice, check the videos I'll put in the description if I don't forget to put them. So with that out of the way, let's get right into the video. So tip number one is parry. I can't give enough importance to the parry mechanic. The faster you master this technique, the better. Many beginning enemies have large health pools like the wolves or the Bigfoot on crack, and being able to basically one-shot them will save you a lot of time and blood vials. Once you have unlocked the Odin Chapel, an enemy will appear right after you leave the place. This man has a large blind spot on his attack animation, so you could practice your parries with this guy. Tip number 2, stick to a weapon. There is a vast amount of weapons in Bloodborne that all have unique movesets, and switching to a different weapon could completely crash your experience. But if you want to efficiently play the game, you need to stick to a weapon for your whole playthrough. That way, by the end of the game, you will have a complete mastery over your weapon. For beginners, I would highly recommend to get the Hunter Axe, as its charge R2 attack, when timed correctly, can easily shred through enemies. But if you want to go for a different weapon, that is completely fine, as long as you stick with it till the end. Think of this weapon as your partner. Work with them to improve both of you. Explore your relationship, and once in a while, have a nice dinner with them. Anyways, I'm getting off track. Tip number 3, be aggressive. Unlike other Souls games, Bloodborne takes a more aggressive approach to fighting, and most enemies are designed to punish passive playstyle. Example of these enemies that I can think of on the top of my head are Father Gascoigne and Vicar Amelia. Funny enough, these two are the beginning bosses of the game, so if you don't want to suffer even more than what is necessary, I would suggest staying on top of your enemies. Tip number 4, don't buy blood vials. Blood vials are an essential item that, well, if you don't have, I guarantee you're pretty screwed. So you would think that buying them would be a smart idea, right? Wrong. I cannot emphasize this enough. Don't buy blood vials. They are pretty costly, and they will become even more costly the more you advance in the game. There are better ways of obtaining blood vials, like literally just killing an enemy. I'll put as background for this tip the area I would recommend for beginners if they want to grind blood vials. It goes from the area of the Great Bridge all the way to Father Gascoigne. So if you want to be able to grind vials, you'll have to have killed both the Cleric Beast and Father Gascoigne. Tip number 5, do L1 combos. Most of the time when you're fighting an enemy, you might just throw some light attacks at him, and maybe at the end a powerful R2 attack. You could do this tactic for the majority of the game, but once the enemies start to get bigger health pools, you're gonna need to do more than that. Using the L1 in the middle of a combo will grant you a powerful attack that will also switch your weapon's mode. This attack will let you do the same combo you have been doing, but with the addition that it will do more damage and it will cost less stamina. So if you want to do the optimal damage, consider using the L1 in a combo. Next, tip number 6, explore the world. Bloodborne areas are pretty big, and they all have little items you can find if you look for them hard enough. Some are just blood echoes, and other are items that could help you in boss fights. So explore everywhere and you'll find nice things. Tip number 7, soft cap begins at 25. When you level up, whatever you level up, like vitality or skill, your stats will increase in that section. I don't know the exact numbers for how much your stats increase. By level 25, that stat increase will be slightly lowered. This is called a soft cap, and the more you level up, the harder the cap will be. So maybe once you reach Vitality 25, you might want to consider leveling up sections like Strength. Tip number 8, Beast Blood Pellets. Use them. When you use Beast Blood Pellets, they gradually make you do more damage in exchange that you take more damage. Yeah, you take more damage, but the amount of DPS you can do to your enemies is insane. I recommend using them on boss fights, as a single hit from a boss already does a fuck ton of damage. And if you want to be extra efficient, I recommend using Father Gascoigne's costume, as it's really high on beasthood, which means that the increase of damage won't be as gradual, and you can get Father Gascoigne's costume once you defeat him. Tip number 9, be patient when dodging. Dodging is really important, but mashing the dodge button will not only delete your stamina bar, it will most likely get you killed. Most enemies are designed to stop you from mashing dodge, and a great example of that enemy is the wolf. After the initial hit, the wolf will wait for a second and then do a lunging attack. If the moment you get hit by the initial attack, you dodge backwards, it is likely you will get your ass handed to you. So to counteract this, you will have to wait for a second for the wolf to attack and then dodge. When you get hit, you need to remember to keep your composure and wait for the next attack. And finally, tip number 10, rocks can be useful. We all hate getting attacked by multiple enemies. That's why the rocks could be a useful item. You could throw it at an enemy to catch their attention, and that way fight them individually. Honestly, this tip is only useful on some occasions, but it can be a nice way for slowly killing the enemies one by one instead of fighting them all at once. But anyways, that's all I have to say. If you enjoyed the video, consider subscribing to my channel. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them below in the comment section, and I'll try my best to help you out. Don't expect much, because I'm just a beginner to Bloodborne, but I'll still try my best. Now, out of the way, I have a wonderful day.